Namaste, welcome everyone. Welcome to your yoga practice, yin practice today. And as we are arriving into spring, I thought our practice should be spring into yin. So that's our theme today. We're going to be working with the element of wood. And the meridians that we're focusing on today are the liver and the gallbladder meridians. So these are the two meridians that are that govern the detoxification, digestion. So this helps us to work through what is old and then begin to cleanse and clear and declutter. And that's sort of when we want to think about the kind of energy it relates to, is that sort of cleansing, clearing, decluttering energy. When we speak about spring, we often talk about having a spring clean. So this is a spring clean for the body, mind, and spirit. And we'll be making a conscious effort and decision in our practice today to start over. Take a fresh start. Begin with yin. I love a rhyming pun. Let's come into our easy pose, legs crossed, sitting on your block or your folded blanket. Have available your usual props, the bolster or bolster equivalent, your cushions or large pillows, a couple of blankets, perhaps a strap or a belt or a tie, and wear your socks. Keep yourself nice and cozy. Layer up so you can then de-layer as you need. Let's bring our thumb and index to touch. Palms face up. Lengthen through your spine. Relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. Lifting your crown. Let's take these first few moments of our practice to settle onto our mat. Let's connect with the sense of self on this mat. Just as nature moves in cycles and seasons, then we have these seasonal cycles for the body, mind, and spirit, which support our natural rhythms. Notice the ebb and flow of your breath, the natural rhythm of your breath, the cycle of breath that moves through you naturally. And with each passing exhale, soften, let go of tension. And with each inhalation, invite in a sense of warmth, a sense of fresh spring energy, sense of vibrancy. On each exhale, soften, let go of tension. And on each inhalation, welcome warmth, nourishment, vibrancy. With the cycle of your breath, you're letting go and drawing in the seasonal energy and all that characterizes this season. This season of renewal, of restoration, of growth, of expansion. I'm going to offer to you equal count breath. Sometimes you may have heard of this as Samavriti pranayama, equal count breath, equal balance breath. And we'll do a count of 4. If the count of 4 feels too long, you can reduce the count to 3 in your own mind. If the count of 4 feels not enough length and depth for you, you can increase it to a count of 5. We will inhale, hold, exhale, hold out for the same count. So we're almost creating this box-like breath. An alternative phrase for this breath is box breath. So you can visualize a square and go around each edge of the square. Let's take a full breath in, full breath out through open mouth to prepare. Inhaling, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hold out rather, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final round, have the equal count that you are most comfortable with and count in your mind's eye or travel around the square, this box breath. Equal count, remember, for the inhale, the holding of the breath in, the exhale, the holding of the breath out. And when you have completed your third round, let's bring our hands together at the heart center and open by chanting Om 3 times. Inhale fully. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Namaste and welcome, yogis. Welcome to our Spring into Yin class. So let's start by doing some tapping and let's trace the journey of the liver and the gallbladder meridians. So with the gallbladder meridian, essentially we're starting at the corner of the eye and then we travel down to the jaw and then round the ear to the top of the eye, back down over the crown and down the back of the neck. And then from the back of the neck, we cross to the shoulder, come on the side of our belly, and here, abdomen, we zigzag down, and then we travel to the back, and then all the way down the side of the leg, down to the 4th toe. So I'll help you trace it. So let's start with 2 fingers, and should we stand? No, we'll stay seated, trying to figure out how it will work best for us. So we'll start with 2 fingers. So you can start on the right eye. Remember, we only have to do this on one side because the stimulation will be mirrored on both sides. So outside of the eye with 2 fingers. Let's travel across the cheekbone down to the jaw. Round the back of the ear to the top of the eye. Up to the middle of the crown, and now I'm going to use 4 fingertips here. around the back of the skull to the middle of the neck. And then I'm going to travel round onto my collarbone. And I'm swapping hands here, so because I want to go down the right side. And here I'm just going to zigzag. We're not going to do this sort of, it's not acupuncture here, so we're just sort of zigzag down the abdomen. And then let's go to the back, to the base of the spine, and down the outside. And now I'm going to fold in my knuckles. This is quite a large part of my body, and tap all the way down the outside of my leg. I'm really focusing around the outer edge of the knee, down the outside of the calf, to the ankle, and then to the top of the foot, to my fourth toe. And in fact, I'm going to go all the way back up. I'm going to focus on the knee, outside of the thigh, the hip, go to my lower back. And here I'm going to use both hands on my lower back. And then again with my forefingers on my abdomen, because it feels a bit intense with my folded fist. Up back to the collarbone, the neck, back of the neck, over the crown, top of the right eye, round the back of the ear, to the jaw, up to the cheekbone, and the outer corner of the eye. Now I've got 2 fingers here. Oh, it feels great. Should we do the other side? Because that felt so good. So let's do the other side, because I loved that. It was wonderful. So let's go to the left eye. I always say we don't need to do both sides, but I love the sensation so much that I'm going to. So we're going to start off on the outer corner of that left eye, and then work our way to our cheekbones, our jaw. And as we're tapping, we can create some positive affirmations about change that we want to see. So I'm going to travel over my ear here to the middle of my eyebrow on the left eye, and then up to the top of my crown. And this is where I bring in my 4 fingertips down around the back of my skull. And because I'm talking to you, it's a bit difficult for me to focus on positive affirmations, but your positive affirmations can be that I feel renewed with the energy of spring, something really simple. I feel energized by the freshness of the breeze and the glow, the warmth of the sun. Back of the neck, back of the shoulder, and left collarbone. And then I'm going to just zigzag down my left side of my abdomen. It's not a science here. My hip, go to my lower back. Now I'm going to travel down the outside of my left leg. So I'm going to bend into that knee. And I'm using my folded fingers here and using my knuckle, because there's a lot more juicy fat along my thighs. Focus on the outside of my knee, down the calf, to the ankle, top of the foot, all the way to the 4th toe. And let's go back. Top 4th toe, top of the toe, ankle. This is where I fold my fingers into knuckles, and up the outside of the leg, my knee, the outside of my thigh, my hip, my lower back. And now I'm going to turn into 4 fingers here on my abdomen, but you can, I'm just going to zigzag here on the outside of my chest, collarbone, back of the neck, middle of my neck here, over the back of the skull. I've got my 4 fingertips here, and then 2 fingers over my eye, over my ear, back of my ear to my jaw. And now I'm bringing in 2 fingertips, my peace fingers, to my cheekbones and the outside of my eye. That's beautiful. Now let's move to the liver. So the liver sort of essentially starts in the big toe. So we'll work up from the big toe and we'll trace the movement up our body and then down our movement. So let's start on the right side. So so to your big toe. So for my big toe, I'm going to just use my fingertips here, and then along the sort of inner arch of your foot, inside of your ankle, and then we're going to trace up on the inside of the calf here. So you're using 4 fingertips, the inside of the knee, inside of my thigh. Here I'm going to bring in some of my knuckles, my groin area. So I'm just going to sort of go from my pubic bone to my hip bone, and then up the center of my abdomen, out to my ribs, back through the sort of in line with my sort of abdomen here, my chest here, sorry. And then up the side of the front of my neck, but slightly to the side of where my voice box is, my larynx is. My jaw, not where the jaw hinges, but sort of middle of the jaw. And then this is where I'm going to bring 2 fingertips up, traveling up the middle of my face to underneath my eye, and then over my eye, just over to my crown, to the back there. So that's one side. So we're going to move over to the other side, and I have my leg ready there. So let's start just at the back of the neck, the base of the skull, just gently over the skull, above your left eye with 2 fingertips, then underneath your eye, and then just down the middle of your face there to the middle of your jaw, side of your neck on either side of the larynx here. And then I'm going to work all the way down side of my abdomen here, go to the bottom of my ribs, and then head back towards the middle. And then I'm going to go to my hip, to my pubic bone, and then I'm going to travel along the inside of my left thigh, pause at my left knee, and now I'm going to switch to my fingertips rather than my knuckles, all the way down the, so where you can trace your shin, I'm going to travel down that area all the way to the ankle, top of the foot, all the way to the big toe. And did we go up this side? I can't remember. Let's go back up this side. I just lost track there. Let's just go up. I don't think we have. So let's retrace our steps. So all the way from the big toe, inside of the arch of your foot, the inside of your ankle, the inside of your shin, inside of your knee, your thigh to your groin, pubic bone to your hip, and then along the middle and out to the rib cage, back to the middle and up through the middle of the chest here. And then we're just going to go all the way to the outside of where the larynx is, front of the neck, middle of my jawbone, middle of my cheek on the left side, underneath my eye, over my eye, and just over my crown to the back of my head. Delicious start. So when you're practicing this tapping at home, what's really wonderful to bring in is any kind of positive affirmation so that you associate some feel-good thoughts, some feel-good phrases with body tapping. And then the two in your mind become associated, so your body-mind pairs up. So what's happening to your body, the stimulation of the meridians, gets attached to thought processes, and thought processes that are positive or feel good or uplifting or healing or comforting in some way. So let's come into our first asana. So our first asana, we're going to swing our leg around and we're going to come into a toe. So as we know, we've got the yin, the meridian for the liver and the gallbladder traveling all the way down to our feet. So have some bolsters or brick or two so that your hands can rest on there. And then tuck your toes in. Now, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can always put your knees here on the bolster or your pillows. So you've got some support there. Or you can shift your weight a little bit further back. So yogi's choice on where you're at here. Your toes are tucked. So you're on the balls of your feet. Your knees can be resting on something. You can lean your weight more forward and that will take away some of the pressure. Or you can be more upright, yogi's choice. Or you can be balanced here with your hands at your heart. We're not here for very long. Crown is lifting. So you're either leaning slightly forward or upright. You either have your weight fully on the balls of your feet or you have your weight adjusted so that there's moderate intensity for the balls of your feet. Your knees can be on cushion or pillow or folded blankets. Your hands can be supporting you on blocks or on something that is raised like a footstool. And then remember this equal count breath throughout. So we're going to invite balance. We'll have 3 more breaths here. Final breath. And then with support, if your hands were lifted, place them on your block. Bring your knees down towards the earth and untuck your toes. And you hear some cracking in my shins. So now your toes are untucked. So now you can feel a stretch down the front of your feet. And you can keep your knees on the earth. So your knees could be on the earth. So this feels quite gentle. Again, place a blanket where you need it. You can place a blanket or cushion at the back of your knees, underneath your knees. Now you can change the experience here in your ankles, your feet, the tops of your feet, the ankles and the front of the shins by lifting up your knees. Now you can lift your knees and keep them lifted while your hands are supporting you on the earth. Or you can place your knees on something a little bit higher so that you're not having to support your weight and your weight is completely on your pillows or bolster. And you can still feel this on the inside of your ankles. Again, we're not here for very long because I know this is quite intense. We don't often do these sorts of movements with our feet. We'll be here for 6 more breaths. And connect with your affirmation. Welcome the warmth of spring. All the flowers that we associate with spring, bright yellows, daffodils, tulips, hyacinths. One more breath. And then let's, with care, if your knees are lifted, release your knees. Let's take a moment. So come to sit on your sit bone and extend your legs long. And I'm going to place my legs on my block, my bolster, because it's there. And flex your feet in towards you. So lift your toes and flex your feet in towards you. Wiggle your toes. Circle your ankles. So you can circle your ankle one way, then the other way. That will help you release it. And you can hold your leg up like this. Until you're happy and your ankles are happy and your toes are happy again. From here, Let's bring the soles of our feet together, coming into butterfly. Now, hopefully you still have something here. That's raised. Remember, you can raise it even more. Layer up those cushions and pillows or blankets. And let's exhale. I'm just going to place all those on my feet, actually. You can place them on your feet. It's very nice feeling to have them on your feet so they're a bit closer. And then exhale and fold forward. So that your head is supported by your mountain of cushions and pillows, or if you just have one bolster, remember you can always have your bolster at an angle and then place your head there. You could have a large pillow at an angle. There's lots of ways to construct your props and support. What I particularly like is when you place the bolster on your, or pillows on your feet. Really is very comforting and grounding and rooting experience. And you can see how we are directly working on our liver and gallbladder meridians. When we work on the liver, we're releasing anger, impulsiveness, irritability. When we're working on the gallbladder, we're invoking courage, strength, a sense of purpose. So often if we feel angry or irritable or frustrated, we can find it hard to focus because those emotions are quite blinding in many ways. They're overwhelming. And so by invoking the gallbladder and pairing the gallbladder with the liver, we're not only bringing into balance those emotions, but we're introducing a sense of vision, a clearer vision, a sense of judgment, balanced judgment, a sense of how I try to find my words, a sense of purpose, so that you're using that energy from the liver meridian that can make us feel out of balance, and we're repurposing that energy into something that is positive and serves us well, helps us to move forward. Let's have 3 more breaths here in forward fold butterfly. Inhaling, rise up. And then let's bring, now we're going to move into shoelace. So your option for shoelace is going to be either that left leg is extended and you cross the right knee over the left knee. That's one option. The other option is if you're already from here in butterfly, your left leg is folded in and you fold over your right knee. So that your right knee is kind of stacked over your left knee. There's no, again, this is not about precision. This is about what feels comfortable for us. So your left leg is either folded or extended. And we are going to fold forward, so it's quite handy to keep your stack there. Before we do that, lengthen here. Place your left hand on the earth, reach up with your right arm, and exhale over to the left. So you come into a lateral extension over to the left. You could always, I'm all about the comfort, you could always place your left elbow and forearm on some cushions, which is very supportive. One more breath here. Inhale, rise up. Keep that right arm reaching up and over. We're going to come into Gomukhasana arms, cow face arms. So let's reach behind with our right hand. Take hold of our top. A left hand, face the palm towards the back of the room, and then take your left hand behind your back. And you can either interlace your fingers here. If they don't connect, take hold of your top, or if you have a belt handy, you can take hold of the belt. So you're holding the belt. You turn around so you can see what I'm doing. So you'll either be holding a belt, holding onto your t-shirt, or hooking and clasping the ends of your hands. Yogi's choice here. So we're using our practice today to come into a sort of even-handedness, a sort of a balance for our liver energy, so that we can use the energy to clear out, to shed unwanted layers, shed the old, declutter, cleanse, clear, spring clean with the liver energy. One more breath here. Then release your hands with care. Left arm reaches out, palm still facing back, and then flip the palm and bring your hand. Let's bring the right hand down towards the earth. And then inhale and reach up and over with the left arm. And again, you have the option of bringing that right forearm onto a bolster or a pillow. Few breaths here. And then when you're ready, rising up. Taking a moment here. Now we're going to fold forward. Now this is where yogis can use your initiative. You can have your little stack. So your legs are still crossed in your shoelace pose. And as you exhale, you can bring your elbows and rest your forehead against your hands. You can cup your head in your palms. You can take out your elbows and place your eyebrow center on the back of your hands. So you're coming into a forward fold. But we're going to support ourselves. You remember, you don't have to use props at all. Props is simply something that I invite you to bring more comfort to your practice. Remember, if you've got your left leg extended and right leg crossed, it's not so easy. So then you might want to place things on your knees. So find what feels comfortable for you. And if you're not using any props, then you'll be folded forward and your head is reaching down towards your knees. So we will all be in different places. You will be making use of props. You will be practicing without props, perhaps. Some of us have more cushions available. Some of us have less cushions available. We make do with what we have. And often when we practice at home for yin, we might be practicing silent yin so that you only hear my voice. You may have some soothing music playing in the background softly, creating a space for your practice, a ritual around your practice, so that you begin to make associations with the body, mind, spirit of how you feel when you come into a particular pose, how you feel when you hear a sound of gentle music. I recommend music without lyrics. How you feel with your breath. All of these associations that build up to invoke this quality of softening, of relaxing into your yin poses, softening into your yin poses. Relaxing here doesn't mean you don't feel any challenge or any sensation. Relaxing here is dropping into that sensation and feeling at ease with the sensation, accepting that sensation. One more breath here in forward fold shoelace pose. As you inhale, begin to rise up with your crown. And then let's uncross our right leg. Your left leg is extended. You might want to fold it in. And here, let's windshield wiper our knees one way, then the other way. You might want to extend your legs long. You might want to move around a little bit here. Hug that in. And now we're going to move to the other side. So remember, you can extend that right leg long and cross the left knee over the right knee. That's one option. Another option is to have your right foot folded in towards you so that your right knee is over your left. Just turn swivel around so I can face you. So firstly, we're going to do a lateral stretch over to the right here. So place your right hand either on the earth or on your bolster blocks and reach up with your left arm. And as you exhale, let's go over to the left. And you can see I have my fingers in Gyan Mudra. Those of you who practice regularly with me will know Gyan Mudra is the go-to mudra. Thumb and index connected. So it's lateral stretch here. And your upper body is soft, even with the left arm reaching over you. Have a softness in your upper body. So during springtime, we may have opened the windows of our homes to let the breeze pass through, to sort of really clear the stale air. This burst of spring into our homes, into our body, mind, spirits. One more breath here with this lateral shoelace. Inhale, rise up. Keep your left hand reaching up. And take your right arm out so your right palm faces back. Let's reach behind with our right palm and left hand reaches towards the middle of the shoulder blade. Again here, take hold of your t-shirt, interlace your hands or use your strap. And you may notice that there's a difference between the two sides, and certainly is for me. And it's often the two sides is depending on whether we're left or right-handed. So shoelace legs with cow face arms. And this in Hatha is called Gomukhasan. And remember, Yin Yoga is originated from Hatha Yoga. So this is why so many of the poses are yoga poses. This is yoga poses. And as yoga evolved in South Asia, and certainly in the West, traditional Chinese medicine was superimposed and laid on top of yoga practice. Sort of, there's a combination of theories because it was found to be very effective on the meridians and the energy channels and the flow of prana and chi was seen to work in much the same way on the body and on the mind and on the spirit. One more breath here. And then with care, let's release the hands or your belt. And then take that right arm up. Keep that right palm facing back before releasing it. And this is where I'm going to invite you to fold forward. Oh, no, we were going to go the other way first, don't we? Yeah, let's go the other way. So we're going to go over to the left. So place your left hand on the earth or on your blocks or cushions, reaching that up and over. And let's go over to the left. Let's make sure we even our practice out. So one of the things that we try and do is even out our practice, balance our practice. What we do on one side, we try to do on the other side. And sometimes we forget. I often forget. And so when you remember, do it then. And if you don't remember, let it be. Inhale through center. And now we can fold forward. So again, have available your props. And I'll turn around so you can see what I'm doing. And remember, you can either have your forearms and your eyebrow center resting on the back of your hands. You can have your elbows, hands interlaced, or you can hold your head in the palms of your hand. Whatever support you need here. And you'll be really feeling the intensity of being in shoelace for quite a while now. Breathe through it. Breathe into the places where you feel tension, where you experience that intensity. As you breathe into that space, hold the breath in that space. As you exhale from that space, and then hold the breath out away from that space. Using that box breath, that equal count breath into areas of intensity. And if you find it's protesting a lot, or you find that it's beginning to feel really uncomfortable, then you come out of the pose. Do not hold a pose for longer than feels comfortable for you. I'm simply giving you a guide, inviting you to be in that pose. But some of us can hold poses for longer. Some of us want to begin to feel the tension because of the shape of our body or the shape how our body is interrelated with all the different parts. 3 more breaths here. Inhaling, rise up slowly. And then let's release our legs. Moving slowly here. Oh, that release. The release that we might feel. Windshield wiper our knees one way, then the other. And then perhaps we extend them. Maybe we pedal our knees. Whatever you need for your knees. Take that time for your knees. So now let's come on to our knees. We're going to come into Tadpole Pose. Maintain your pillows here. You might want your blankets here for your knees. So I'm going to place my blanket across my mat, my folded blanket here. And we're going to have our knees as wide as our mat and big toes touch. I'm going to lower my bolsters. I don't want as many layers. So big toes touch here. Remember, the liver starts at the big toe here. And then I'm going to fold forward. My forearms can be directly on the earth or on my pillow or bolster. You can have your sit bones slightly raised, or you can have closer to your heels. You can have your knees even wider than your mat. So come into the width for your knees that feels comfortable for you. So mine are slightly outside of my mat. That's why I place my blanket across so that they're properly padded. My big toes are touching. So you can be on your forearms on the earth, on your bolster. Your seat can be lifted. It can be close to your heels. Check where the sensation feels really intense for you, and then choose the intensity that you want to be with. Remember here, as we work with the gallbladder, which runs along the outside of the leg, this is the sort of, this is where everything is metabolized, where it's all sorted. So this is connected with the executive functions of the brain, such as judgment, decision-making, critical thinking. That part of the brain helps us to sort out. So it's connected with the gallbladder, meridian, and organ. And the liver, which runs along the inside of the legs, is the general of the army, it's said. And this is what carries away what we don't need. The function is to clear away, to digest, to then clear out, to filter. Three more breaths here. And then inhale, rise up. From here, we're going to move directly into sleeping swan. Now, your sleeping swan, the traditional way of sleeping swan is pigeon, kapotasana, is we're going to simply bring that right shin forward and slide the left leg back. Oops, check that you clear space behind you. And then again, you can have your upper body on a block. Now, if Sleeping Swan is not accessible to you here, remember the Sleeping Swan alternative is to lie on your back and cross your right leg, right ankle onto your left thigh. And this is also Sleeping Swan. So this does the same thing here. And you can have that left knee close to you or further away from you. Your left foot can be on the earth. It could be lifted, it could be resting on a block. Keep turning that right knee out. So this figure of 4 as we lie on our back is the reclined version of Swan or Pigeon. So you're either lying on your back or your left leg is extended on the floor behind you. You could be resting on your bolster, or you can be lying down on the earth with your eyebrow center on the backs of your hands or on your mat. So remember, the further away your right heel is from your left hip, the more intensity you will experience in that right leg. The closer that right heel is to the left hip, the less intense it will feel. So choose where you want to be. It might also completely depend on where you can get to. So for me, being perpendicular with this right shin feels way too intense. So I like to have my right heel closer to my left hip. Because I don't want to push my body beyond what its comfortable edge. Remember, we want to stay within our comfortable edge. So as we're working with the liver and gallbladder and it's connected to the element of wood, remember the quality of wood. The quality of wood is that it is strong, yet flexible. It can sway with the wind. That there are many layers. Three more breaths here in your variation of Sleeping Swan, whether it's reclined on your back or whether you're lying prone on the earth. Inhale, helping hands, lifting yourself up into high swan. Tuck the left toes and then reach that right leg back. And then bring that left knee forward towards your left hand. Sit on your left, roll onto your left sit bone and then adjust your left shin to where you want it to be, as if you're lying on the earth. And then you've got your right leg extended behind you. And sorry, and if you are on your back, then it's a transition from right foot to the earth or your bolster and your left ankle on your right thigh. Keep turning that left knee out. So here in Sleeping Swan with the sleeping dog, it's a great, this can be my screen, my thumbnail for this video, I think. So we'll be here for another few minutes. Remember again that left heel can be closer to your right hip or further from your right hip. Sleeping Swan with sleeping dog. Three more breaths here. So I'll use this as my thumbnail for my YouTube video. So that you can all see Pepper sleeping next to us. Inhale to rise up. Tuck your right toes and then reach back long with your left leg. And then come onto your abdomen, and from here we're going to roll over into our Shavasana. If you're already on your back, then you can simply move into Shavasana. And if you have your bolster there, you can place your bolster underneath your knees. Or you can have your legs extended long. Yogi's choice. And I'm going to invite you to stay here for at least 5 minutes. Covering yourself with a blanket, covering your eyes with an eye pillow, and softening, letting go. With each passing exhale, let go and soften. With each inhalation, welcome the warmth of spring. And remember, when you do choose to rise, to close your practice with Om Shanti 3 times. And moving slowly and with care. Dhanyavad.